Anywho, there was a video that I wanted to react to. The lady's name is Shalon Lester. We reacted to her last week as well, but she has another good one that I want to take a look at. I don't know if it's good yet because I haven't watched it, but the title looked pretty interesting, so sounds like something good to get into. The title is How to Cheat and Not Get Caught. This lady seems to keep it real. You know, you can say what you want to say. Is she degenerate? Or, does she have shitty intentions? Is she the type of woman you should stay away from? But she does keep it real. So I find that to be interesting. Anyways, let's hear what she has to say.
Welcome back, Shalloners. It's Evil Week. That's right. We're back talking about 7 deadly sins and what we can take from each one of them, because sometimes being good gets a little boring. Isn't it more fun to be bad? Isn't it more fun to be the victor than the victim? I think so. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite sins, greed. Not about money, not about possessions, but people. What do you do when you can't just settle for one man? You have to have many, many men. Today, I'm going to teach you how to cheat and get away with it. But first, just want to remind you that if you want to talk to me privately, one-on-one about anything evil or not so evil in your life, find me on my website.
Neo Starling says, that's LFA's new bae. No, she's probably too hot for me, but I'd give her a run for her money. Maybe I'll call this hotline she has on there and hear what she has to say.
Site ShallonLester.com, and also head to ShallonLester.com to shop my new merch line. I've got some great hoodies, phone cases, vision boards, and crop tops that you guys are going to love. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you guys vote on these topics for Evil Week and all of my other videos. And as you guys know, here on the channel, usually we're talking about positivity, being a bad bitch, how to help other people. But like I said, sometimes that gets a little boring. Sometimes we have to indulge in the darker side of life, right? Because I know you guys are tired of getting manipulated. I hear it all the time. You're tired of getting cheated on. So is the answer to become the thing you fear and hate the most, a cheater? It can be. I don't subscribe to that as an overall way to live your life, because here's the thing. I have cheated on a lot of people. I have. And cheating...
Looks like we've got an honest one here. A little bit late on these sound effects. Damn it. Damn it. That was a hell of an honest statement right there. I mean, you got to respect that at least. I've cheated on a lot of people.
Does something to you. It splits you into 2 different people. It does. Cognitive dissonance is a very powerful thing. Cognitive dissonance means the surroundings, like your circumstances, reality, does not align with what you not only think about yourself, your integrity and your values, but most importantly, what you want to be happening, right? And it's very, very hard to be with one person and then have a side dude. And for the purposes of this video, we're going to call them mistresses, because it's very offensive that there's no like male name like misters. Like, what does that even mean? We're going to call side dudes.
I'm not going to lie. Well, I don't believe in cheating, so I don't cheat on people. But when I was with my ex, there was a girl at work that I would talk to a lot. And the temptation was there, was very much there, to a point where it was like, I was like mentally like halfway with her and halfway with her. But I didn't mess with her at all until after me and my ex split up. But what she's saying here does make sense. Like, it does split you in 2. Like, when you're with this person, you're on one page, and with that person, you're on the other. It's not a good look. You know, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you need to, you need to not put yourself in a position to want to be with somebody else. Because if you spend time with somebody else, you're going to want to be with somebody else.
Mistresses, okay? Get on board. It's very difficult to be equally in love with both of them, right? There's going to be resentment on one side or the other, and that can be really torturous for your partner, as you guys have known from being cheated on. So let's say you don't want to be a cheater. Let's say you're starting to watch this video and you're like, I feel bad about myself. Okay, watch anyway, because this is going to help you identify a cheater in your own life. Sometimes to catch a killer, we got to become a hunter ourselves. You know what I mean? We got to like put on the cloak of evil and go inside as a mole and a spy to smoke out people and understand. Because good people don't catch bad people. Kind of bad people catch bad people. And sometimes that's who we got to be. So let's look at the giveaways for cheating, right? You have a shift. It's not only a shift in like schedule, it's a shift in behaviors, patterns, and most importantly, attitude. When I look back on people who've like cheated on me, because, you know, it happens in both directions. It's not like only I was the villain. It's not like only I was the victim. I've been on both sides. When I look back, it's like the hurtful thing about cheating is not even that like they stuck their dick in someone else. It's my ex-husband said this to me, like I didn't cheat on him, we didn't cheat on each other, but like we were just talking about it. And he's like, the bad thing about cheating is that it means you have been making decisions based on a reality that didn't actually exist. And isn't that the truth? Because you look back after being cheated on, you're like, what a fool. You feel humiliated. You feel humiliated. And even though that's probably not your partner's intent, sometimes it is though. Sometimes it is. That is the natural consequence because, right, sometimes people are just not great at monogamy. They're weak. They're horny. They need a shit ton of attention. They have a flaccid ego. They have poor coping mechanisms for being alone, being bored, being stressed, whatever. And sometimes people cheat to get your attention. So if people fall into the first category, poor coping skills, all that
cheat to get your attention, 100%. I mean, women, a lot of women will do that. If you're like, you're in a relationship with one of them and you're not giving her a lot of attention, or she starts to feel like it's almost like she feels like you're about to leave her or something, she'll go start fucking around with another dude to make you jealous. And I've seen these things happen. Okay. I knew a couple, they're pretty close to me, so I'm not going to say the names or who they are, but they were together and I don't know, they were just like in a normal relationship. And she wanted to get married and he was waiting too long. And she ended up fucking her stepsister's ex-husband and getting pregnant by him and then getting an abortion. And her boyfriend was so like devastated by it. Like it shook him up. He was like a stout, stone cold alpha male. But because his girlfriend cheated on him with a, you know, like sort of like almost a family member type deal and got pregnant and got an abortion, it wrecked his psyche so bad that he wrote her like this long note and I read it. It was like, you know, the other day I went to visit this old man who taught me how to put roofs on houses. And we had a conversation and he said, the one thing that I regret the most in my life is not marrying this sweetheart that I was with when I was younger. And now here I am alone and by myself, blah, blah, blah. Like he wrote this long romantic note, all sentimental and shit. And they get back together, they get married, they have kids. And as far as I know, they have like a happy life. But she did that shit. Like I don't think she strategically got pregnant, but she strategically cheated on him and got caught to wreck his psyche and turn the alpha into a beta. You know what I mean? Like it was a weird thing. So these things do happen and women will cheat if you're that dude. And this is what a lot of manosphere guys get wrong. They think, well, if you're the high value, good looking, charismatic alpha with tons of options, women will automatically be obedient. Not so much. Not so much. Women will do a lot of them at least, will play little games to maintain a decent level of power over you. So it happens. You know, it's just something you got to be aware of. So it's interesting. And I know she's probably making this video here on the spot and like, getting emotional in situations, but she's doing a good job of elaborating.
That can be changed. It can. You can work on that. If you're cheating to like stick it to your partner, that's bad. You can do things that hurt me accidentally, but if you're doing things to hurt me purposely, there's no coming back from that. There's just not, and there shouldn't be. Deliberate cruelty is unforgivable. You know why? Because it's bottomless. Where is the bottom of that behavior? If you can cheat on me on purpose and hurt me, you could probably hit me. You could say vicious things. Could you kill me? Could you kill my dog? Could you do something terrible like that? Like where does that pathology end? And a lot of women don't know. And they just keep going down this like dead end path over the cliff into an abyss. And they lose themselves in a toxic relationship. But today, we're not going to talk about people cheating on us necessarily. We're going to talk about cheating on them. But I bring all this up because look, if you're cheating to hurt your partner, just leave, girl. Literally just leave. Just leave. Because ostensibly, you want to cheat and like not get caught. But if you want to cheat and get caught on purpose, you're going to play yourself because then you're the bad guy. So let's say your boyfriend is a shitbird and you really have legitimate reasons for getting revenge on him and like sticking it to him. If you go out and take up the mantle of the villain, you blow your position. You blow the only leverage you have. And victim mentality, we talk about that usually on this channel. We're talking about good things and positivity, about how toxic victim mentality is and how much it sucks and how annoying it is for everyone around you. But it's really useful when your boyfriend sucks. You have to hang on to that victim narrative. That's your power and that's your leverage. Okay. But let's say you fall into the first category of cheaters I was talking about. People who just kind of like boys. That was always sort of my thing. Like I love boys and I'm boy crazy and I have been since I was like 6. And like, I really think somebody should have nominated me for some sort of award for staying a virgin until I was almost 22. I mean, given my libido and how much I love boys, like that shit is like in dog years. Okay. I deserved recognition from the Council of Thoughts. Like, you held out the longest from the ratio of your horniness. I did. But where was I going with this? What am I talking about?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Have you been smoking marijuana?
So like I said, if you are just like, oh, you can't kind of resist, you're sort of like a kid in a candy store. Maybe you're studying abroad. Maybe you guys are like in a long distance relationship. Maybe you love him, but he works a lot and you're just like, I don't know, I just really like making out with boys. Okay. First of all, keep your goddamn mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. 2 can keep a secret if one of them is dead, as the old saying goes. And no, you probably can't, or I'm sure you can. You shouldn't kill your mistress. But you also need to zip the lip with your friends, right? Because like you think you know your friends and you think they're loyal to you, but people have very different morality in terms of cheating. First of all, I wouldn't dine my friends out to God herself. Like I keep their secrets forever. And we got a lot of them. But like some people are not like that. Like some people who come from a family where dad cheated on mom, and if they see cheating, it's like, it's like a Vietnam flashback. Like they cannot handle it. They will sell you out. So it's really, really important to keep your crimes on the down low. Loose lips sink ships. You also need to keep it quiet from your boyfriend. And I know that sounds obvious. But I get a lot of messages from you guys where it's like, my boyfriend dumped me, or we were on a break and I went to a club and made out with this guy and I feel so guilty because now we're back together. Should I tell him? I'm like, no, no. Transparency is baloney. Transparency is capitulation of control. I don't tell anybody everything. Certainly not a boy that I'm dating. Are you out of your mind? I didn't even tell my husband everything. I never told my husband how old I was. I mean, he figured it out, but like that to me is information I don't like to share. I would rather like share my pap smear results. That's me, and that's my line in the sand, and like you have the right to have your own information stay within you. When you go out with a guy, you don't have to tell him your whole history. You don't have to tell him that like you were married or what. No one is owed access to your stories, okay? And certainly not your boyfriend.
Low key though, well, high key actually. Somebody that's comfortable sharing their, kind of like their life story with you, that's a good thing. Like if a woman is willing to introduce you to her family and, her friends that she grew up with, this means she has nothing to hide. And she could potentially be a good girlfriend. if she's unwilling to tell you all of these things, you kind of have to question, like, what kind of secrets is this girl keeping? You know, what's really going on here? Not sure why she's advising this.
Because look, you got to level with yourself. If you go out and you slip up and you hook up with someone, I had a guy do this, a boyfriend I loved like 10 years ago. Short. He looking for a stripper. But that's the thing. He's like, I slept with this girl down in Florida. And I was like, why are you telling me this? And he's like, what? I was like, when someone cheats, they're either never going to do it again or they're going to do it kind of all the time. So which of these categories you fall into? Because if you're never going to do it again, I didn't need to know about it. I don't need to know what impels your personal growth within this relationship, especially if it's something that's going to hurt me, because now it's a thing. Now it's a thing in the room that we have to think about. And I'm going to like picture it and like blah, blah, blah. It becomes an unavoidable data point. But if you're going to do it all the time and you're going to leave me for her, I also didn't need to know. I didn't need to know. You could just leave and be on your way. And he's like, well, it's going to be that. I was like, great, thank you. You could have just dumped me. I didn't need to know that when I was texting you and saying all these things, you were sticking it into a stripper. Thanks. I shouldn't talk shit about strippers. You know I love strippers. Like, I love them. But it's just, it's cliche. He was in a band. I'm just like, come on. She had like a kid she didn't have custody of. I was like, you methed out trash. She had like meth eyebrows. You know what I mean? You know the when you see them. So you got to zip the lip. If you confess once, it's going to make it way harder to keep on cheating. And
the meth face. You know, I don't know why guys are attracted to like the stripper type of girl. Well, I mean, I do. I've dated one stripper, and that one stripper, like, she knew that the only thing she was good at was sex and being hot. So that's what she focused on, was sex and being hot. And, you know, she wanted to do as much as she could to, you know, keep the sex life, you know, rocking my world, so to say. If that meant threesomes, if that meant like weird, kinky shit, she wanted to do it all. But that's literally all that she brought. Like, she was a dingbat in every other aspect of life. So I don't know why guys are attracted to that. Like, I get like, I get icky being around strippers.
girl, you probably will. You'll probably cheat. So the second thing you need to do is foresee the red flags that are going to pop up in terms of giving your behavior away. Now, like I said, when people cheat, there are shifts. They're on their phone a lot more. They're making like smiley faces. They're changing their passcode. Literally, if you're going to have a life of crime, you should get a second phone. Or establish with whoever it is you're cheating with that there's like hours. And it's hard. You don't necessarily want to let them know that you are in a relationship, like if you can help it, because they can use that against you. Like people.
Really, anybody, if you're ever with somebody that won't show you their phone or won't hand you their phone unlocked, you know, the relationship's never going to work. And in this day and age, that's most people. Like, you ever stand next to somebody, like you're at work or something, you stand next to them and like they like turn their phone so you can't see it. It's like everybody nowadays. Everybody has these like secrets and shit. Need to stop doing things you're ashamed of.
People will turn on you, they'll blackmail you. There's, you know, this shit happens. Like, you don't want your mistress blowing up your life. You can do that on your own. So just be like, hey, you know, when I'm home at night, I turn my phone off. Make it up. You're lying to one dude, lie to the other. Who cares? Because you need to keep information above and below, right? You need to keep information on a need to know basis, not just flowing out loosey goosey and you don't know who knows what and blah, blah, blah. So establish some parameters before you go out like into this. Also, start having some new activities and have two. Well, you're actually going to only maybe have one. The second one is going to be a variable activity with a loosey goosey schedule. So this is what I mean, because scheduling is a big shift in terms of behavior. It's like, she doesn't come home now and like, I don't know where she goes after school and blah, blah, blah. So you want to sign up for like two things. Say one's like a pottery class. Okay. You're doing pottery like every day after work. Then you're going to be like, oh, I'm also doing like CrossFit and like, it's hard to get in. So sometimes the only classes are like 8 to 9. It's so annoying. And actually do that so that there's plausible, you know, there's a realism to your lies. You're coming home, you're sweaty or whatever.
How obvious is this though? Like, do dudes not know, like, hey bro, if your girlfriend is like coming home from work late and she's dressing differently and she has different hobbies all of a sudden, something's up, bro. Like, I think men kind of know that. So like the stuff she's saying is like obvious signs of a woman cheating. It's not signs that, it's not tricks to help them get away with it.
It's like your body's changing. You can like give normal accountable details because you're actually there. Sometimes, not all the time. But again, you want to pick something that the schedule kind of shifts, but not so wildly. It's like, oh, I went to CrossFit and I spent the night. No, like if that's what you need to do, if you want to have that big of a
literally CrossFit by itself. Like if your girlfriend all of a sudden takes interest in some like sporting activity that she's never been into before, you can almost guarantee that some dude is into that sporting activity and she's just there to see him. Like it's pretty obvious, right?
cheat where you're full on spending the night with another dude, you're going to have to escalate those lies accordingly. You're going to have to travel for work. You're going to have to like go sleep with your sister sometimes. You're going to have to like your mysterious best friend, Perry, is like having some sort of like crisis and you have to sleep at her house 2 nights a week. You know, work smarter, not harder, because then it's going to give you wiggle room if he gets suspicious. Be like, babe, I know, just this class opened up. So it's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to go. I don't know why it's that big of a deal. Like it happened last week. Also, get your boyfriend involved in things. If he's busy, he's not going to be paying as much attention to what it is you're doing, right? But, and this is truly evil. This is evil. Are you guys ready for it? You got to start gaslighting him. That is the tool of a cheater. Gaslighting. And so we know what gaslighting is. If you don't, it's based on this movie in the 40s called Gaslight. Why is my coffee table just started vibrating and that's...
Oh, fuck yeah.
This lady is to a T copying everything out of the narcissistic playbook. It's like she studied how to be a narcissist and then she's doing her best to become that, but she's not actually that. So weird. So crazy. Or maybe she is that and she's just kind of teaching the rest of the world how to become that.
A little worrisome. All right. Evil is here. Huh. And so this movie, and anyway, this guy like adjusts, this like shitty husband adjusts like the gas flames in the lamps to flicker. And the wife's like, these are flickering. He's like, no, they're not. Baby, maybe you're going crazy. Maybe we should commit you to institution and then I can get all of your inheritance. Gaslighting. And so we are used to seeing gaslighting as like a guy calling you crazy, but really it is anyone who tells you that you are not observing what you are very much observing, right? So it can come in a lot of forms. I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this. It's no, like there, it comes in a lot of forms. So try to employ it in as many different subtle and amorphous ways as you can, right? And one thing cheaters always do, they're accusatory, which is ironic because like you really want to like shine a light on someone's behavior, but this is exactly why they do it. It's a distraction and a deflection technique. So whenever someone's been cheating on me, suddenly they accuse me a lot of like things that they themselves are guilty of. Why were you talking to Garrett up in the pool for 2 hours? What were you guys doing? I'm like, we were literally doing nothing. You were at work. I don't know. That's because they're doing something bad. And when people are criminals, they see crime everywhere, right? So if your boyfriend starts to get suspicious or even before he does, start to gaslight him. This is evil. Like this is giving me a sick feeling in my chest because I don't like telling this. But again, I want you to use this to spot people like this.
Maybe this is like her therapy. Like maybe she's just guilty of doing all of these things and she needs to like confess her sins, so to say. So she just comes on here and confesses them to the world.
Like, I don't want you to go out and cheat on people because like I said, it splits you into two. It's really hard on yourself. And society doesn't love a cheater. That's not a fun thing to have to admit to other people or to yourself. It isn't. Like you don't sleep great at night being like, I've cheated on people who trusted me. It's awful. It's awful. And it's awful to be cheated on, you know, but at least when you're cheated on, you're the victim. When you're the cheater, you're the bad guy and not in like the fun Billie Eilish way, really sucky way. So yeah, throw your boyfriend off kilter. Where have you been? Who are you with? I don't know. Who's this chick Natalie you work with? I don't know. You're like always talking about her. Why? Just go out with her. I don't care. Then he's going to feel minimized, which is how we feel when people gaslight us. And he's going to be less likely to speak up if he sees you doing something wrong, right? So again, this is what we need to look for when we think somebody is cheating on us. Let's see, what else? Change in schedule. Yeah, come up with reasons. And it's also really important not to shift your attitude towards your partner. Because also when I've looked back on people who've cheated on me, and I see this in questions you guys give, you say, my boyfriend is like, things are really good. And it's like, suddenly he became very cold and distant, but he'll have these punctuating moments of like, so sweet to me, so lovely, just like, And then that'll kind of like evaporate and he'll go back to being distant. It's like the cycle repeats. And I'm like, you know why? Because when he's being nice to you, that's because he just heard from his mistress or he just saw her. Doesn't that make you sick? That makes me sick to my stomach. But that's the truth. And when I look back, when my high school boyfriend was cheating on me, that's exactly how he acted. That's exactly how. And when I cheated on people, that's how I acted too. It's horrible. It's horrible.
This is just like the cliche, hurt people, hurt people.
So you have to be real careful to keep yourself even keeled. But guys, just be single. Just get out of the relationship. Like something I hear so often from you guys is like
Go WGTOW.
Like making excuses for dudes. Like, well, he has his girlfriend, he can't leave her, blah, blah, blah. Horseshit. If a man doesn't want to be with someone, he's not going to be. Same with you. Guys aren't going to leave their girlfriend for their side chick. I mean, we did a whole video about it, and Travis Scott's side chick was not happy. Sorry. I am only a mirror. I am not the problem. I didn't start the fire. Okay. I am just like warming my hands next to it.
Did you just say Travis Scott? Is that Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner?
Making money off of it. Sorry. But like, if you are cheating, just be single. Just be single. And if you don't want to be, then you really can't be selfish like this. And
fuck this shit. I'm going MGTOW again.
Drag people down because you know what, you're going to fuck up this dude for the next chick. And you're probably like, I don't care about the next chick, but you are the next chick for somebody else. So we all need to start being a little bit more accountable and stop doing really crappy things because we're creating shitty dudes. We are creating super viruses in the form of men. Like, I'm not even concerned about like koala bear.
I create shitty bitches. What was that song? I make the good girls go bad. Not anymore. Jesse Lee Peterson would call that behavior a slut maker. I need to get a soundbite of slut maker.
Beta!
Chlamydia, which they have, and it's like incurable. Like, I'm concerned about like viruses as human men. So think long and hard before you start to cheat. And I know nobody wakes up in the morning and they're like, today's the day to get a mistress. Like, it's not some grand plan anyone is executing. It happens gradually. Crime escalates, right? So if you feel that itch, look back at your relationship. Look first towards yourself. What is it I can't cope with? I have no coping mechanism, so I'm going to get on Tinder, right? What is it that I'm running from? Internally, externally in my life, inside my relationship? What is this mistress that I want to go get an emotional getaway car from? Start there. Because like getting a mistress when you're unhappy in your relationship is like getting a meth habit if you're unhappy in your life. It's a bad idea. It's going to create a secondary problem that is going to become larger than the primary problem. And it really is easier just to address that initial problem and move on. Because like I said, you don't want to cheat. It sucks. It's hurtful. You don't want to be on that side. It's a mess. It's so much better to know yourself. And if you go inward and you're like, no, I want to be a hoe. Go be a hoe. Go be a hoe. Do it. It's a lot of fun. Wrap it up though. You can order Plan B on Amazon, just not Prime. It's only $12, but it does take 3 days to get there. So plan your slutty adventures ahead of time. Have it on hand. Buy it.
She literally knows how long it takes for the Plan B to arrive. This is good stuff.
For your friends, it's a great stocking stuffer. The more you know. That's it for today for Evil Week. I hope you guys feel a little more wicked, maybe a little bit smarter, maybe a little bit better. I'll be back with some more sins and some more talks. But in the meantime, like I said, if you want to connect and if you want to shop, go to ShallonLester.com and find me on Instagram at ShallonXO. Stay wicked, stay savage.
No, that was some pretty good stuff. Got to credit her for her honesty. This one keeps it real. We've got an honest one here. Interesting stuff. Schmegma.